It is 0:30 Universal Time. I'm Jim Tedder in Washington. A spokesman for the American State Department says the United States is seeking a United Nations resolution to stop Iranian nuclear activity. Also Tuesday, diplomats from the 5 permanent members of the Security Council and Germany met in Paris to discuss Iran. Iran's foreign minister told an Iranian newspaper that Russia and China have told him they would oppose actions against Iran. Separately, a commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guard says Israel would be Iran's first target if the United States were to attack Iran. But Israel's new deputy prime minister said Tuesday his country is strong and knows how to defend itself. The African Union has again extended the time that the Sudanese government and Darfur rebels have to sign a peace agreement that would end more than 3 years of war. AU officials say they will extend the time by another 48 hours until Thursday at midnight. The rebels want a peace agreement negotiated by the African Union to include increased representation in the central government. The Sudanese government has agreed to sign the current agreement. The American Deputy Secretary of State and the International Development Minister of Britain met with both sides Tuesday in the Nigerian capital of Abuja. An international press freedom group says 63 news reporters and 5 media aides were killed last year while working. The group said 2005 was the deadliest year for reporters in the past 10 years. Reporters Without Borders released its yearly study of news reporting Tuesday. It said 120 people are currently in jail for attempting to report news stories. The group noted that more than 1,000 reporters were attacked or threatened last year. Iraq was said to be the deadliest area for reporters. Wednesday is World Press Freedom Day. An international media rights group says North Korea has the most severe media restrictions in the world. The Committee to Protect Journalists says that North Korean media do not report on the country's lack of food and poor living conditions. However, it says the country's media publish praise of leader Kim Jong-il daily. The group also said Burma is second only to North Korea in media restrictions. Separately, the rights group Reporters Without Borders says China and other Asian governments severely restrict Internet use. The group says China blocks Internet information and arrests Internet reporters. In northern Sri Lanka, gunmen have raided the offices of a Tamil-language newspaper. Reports say the gunmen fired their weapons after entering the offices in Jaffna. One supervisor at the newspaper was killed. 2 other workers were wounded. Earlier, a Tamil Tiger rebel camp was attacked in the eastern port of Trincomalee. 8 rebels were killed. The rebels blame the Sri Lankan army. You are listening to the news in VOA Special English. Officials say the governor of Iraq's Al-Anbar province received minor injuries when a bomb exploded near his car. The bomb exploded as the governor was traveling to his office in Ramadi. 3 of his guards were killed and 4 others wounded in the attack. The German Foreign Ministry reports 2 Germans kidnapped in Iraq have been freed. The 2 were seized more than 3 months ago in the town of Baiji. Also Tuesday, the United States military says coalition forces killed 10 rebels in a gun battle northwest of Baghdad. The military said troops raided a house where the rebels were hiding. It said that guns, ammunition, and explosive material were seized. The American State Department has expressed concerns about developments in Bolivia. State Department spokesman Sean McCormick spoke after Bolivian President Evo Morales nationalized his nation's oil and gas industry. Mr. McCormick said the Bush administration is concerned about how the move will affect business interests in Bolivia. He said the United States is also concerned about agreements signed by the Bolivian government. Mr. Morales sent troops into Bolivian oil and gas fields Monday to make certain that production continued. The price of shares in energy companies that work in the area have dropped. The government of Chad says security is in place for the presidential election planned for Wednesday. Rebels attacked the capital in N'Djamena less than 3 weeks ago in an attempt to oust the government of President Idris Deby. Rebels have said there will be new attacks during the election. Mr. Deby pushed through a measure last year that permits him to run for a 3rd term. Opposition leaders and rights workers have criticized the move. A new report says Sudan is the worst of 10 countries considered to be failing. The report was released by Foreign Policy magazine and the Fund for Peace. Researchers studied 12 social, political, and military conditions in each nation last year. The nations with the worst conditions after Sudan are Iraq, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ivory Coast, Zimbabwe, Chad, Somalia, Haiti, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. The researchers said they defined a failing state in these ways. The government does not have control of its territory. The population does not believe the government gained power honestly. The government does not provide security or basic services to its citizens. And finally, the government is not the only group with armed forces. And now, briefly, here again is the major news of the hour in special English. A spokesman for the American State Department says the United States is seeking a UN resolution to stop Iranian nuclear activity. The African Union has again extended the time that the Sudanese government and Darfur rebels have to sign a peace agreement. And an international press freedom group says 63 news reporters and 5 media aides were killed last year while working. And that's the news in VOA Special English. From Washington, this is Jim Tedder reporting.